feel comfortable with what you're answering?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
When it runs back, we'll see if that answer changes, but
Yeah.
I feel good right now.
Well, we're not going to show it to you. We're just going to put it out there. So whatever you look like on film now, that's it.
Perfect. I love a surprise.
So today we're here for a topical chat with Kyle Chandler, and he's with Pacific Dependable Property Management. I wanted to get people some insights on what a property manager does, why it's sometimes better to have somebody else manage the property for you because they know all the ins and outs of it. So Kyle, again, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, property management, it is a lot in a nutshell. I mean, whether you're attacking it from the perspective of a DIY landlord or looking for more of a professional solution of someone who's done it for a little bit longer and looking for the systems and the processes, it's really a wide array. At the end of the day, the largest thing of property management comes down to, of course, the management and protection of your property. For most property managers, if not all, that's their number one priority, is protecting your property, protecting your interest, and creating a safe environment for tenants and owners alike. So I'm with Pacific Dependable. That's what we do, locally owned and operated, based in Milwaukee and servicing the greater Portland area.
I'm assuming you work Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington County?
Yes, sir.
And probably some others, but of those three, which one would you say is the best to have a rental property in, and which one is the worst, which we already know the answer to? But tell me.
Yeah, I think we do, Tim. I think we do. We know. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. You can have a successful rental and a successful property management and landlord experience in any of the three counties. There's one that you might have a little bit more due diligence and need to act a little bit more carefully in. That being, of course, Multnomah County. Multnomah County and the city of Portland has always been traditionally significantly more tenant favoring, which doesn't mean that you can't have a successful experience in that county. It just means that you should know landlord tenant law to a T and be extremely specific and intentional about your decisions and your actions when managing a property in Multnomah County.
If I wanted to self-manage my property, what is the scariest thing I have to be worried about?
The scariest thing that I would say when it comes to managing your own property and having your own tenants is screenings. There are a lot of great platforms out there that help simplify and streamline the landlord process. Zillow, Trulia, there's a lot of management softwares out there directed or specific for DIY landlords that will help you kind of be an all-in-one platform for rent collection, scheduling tours, advertising, and even creating your lease. I would say that in Oregon, in Multnomah County, making sure that you're complying with local screening policy guidelines and making sure that they're complacent with local laws. And I would recommend that you have preferably a local company specializing in screening help you do those.
I have a lot of people who want to invest in properties, and they all want to manage it themselves. Of course, that cut costs down quite a bit when you do try to manage yourself. What are some of the tips that you might give somebody who insists on managing a property for themselves?
So I'm a large proponent of the DIY landlord or self-managing. I did it myself for many years. A lot of people on our team have done it for many years successfully. Of course, everybody hears the horror stories. There are risks associated with everything. In property management, with tenants, and especially Oregon landlord tenant law, there is more risks. You can mitigate them, but you need to make sure that you're informed and educated throughout the whole process. So for those that are looking to go down that path and manage their properties themselves, I would strongly recommend that you at least familiarize yourself with the entirety of Oregon landlord tenant law. And if you are in Multnomah County, in the city of Portland, especially, I would spend a lot of time researching and becoming expertise on the local laws and jurisdictions in your area. It can be a really fulfilling situation and experience for a lot of people if it is done structured and done the right way.
My biggest fear is somebody comes in. I mean, I can do all the screening I want. Somebody moves in, and give me a sample time frame. And I'm going to talk specifically Multnomah County, that if I was self-managing, what's the time frame to where, okay, all of a sudden at some point in time they stop paying rent, and now I've probably lost, because I know the laws, you have to pay somebody to move out and all this other stuff. In other words, can they come in there a month and then all of a sudden stop paying rent? Now it's 90 days to get them out?
So when a tenant does not pay rent in Multnomah County, rent is considered late at 4:59 p.m. on the 4th day, at which point that's when late fees kick in and you get to start enforcing things. Everybody's going to have an excuse for anything at a certain point in time. It would be set your policies, set your procedures, set what you're going to do when something happens, and follow those. Of course, a big part about being human is understanding that human things and life happens. But if you set your policies and your standards ahead of time, you'll have an organized route for success when those things, I don't want to say inevitably, but can happen.
Can happen, yeah. So I had a relative who self-managed a property. I mean, great tenants, and she had it with them for 12 years.
Sure.
Always paid on time. You know, the first 2-3 years, she'd go there every 6 months. This is what I suggest to anybody who wants to self-manage. Make sure that you're going there at least every 6 months and doing a walkthrough, you know, physical walkthrough of the house. After about 3 or 4 years, again, great tenants, kept the yard nice, kept the front looking nice, always paid their rent on time, never complained about the increase in rent. She stopped going inside. And then I think it was 7 years later, she decides to sell her investment property. She lets them out. This was years ago. All of a sudden they go inside and there's $35,000 worth of damage because she had stopped going inside. You as a property manager, what do you and your team do to avoid something like that? Do you visit the properties that you manage on a regular basis?
Yes, 100%. And I think that's very important and a great point. So we do visit the properties. We do of course, the move-in inspection when tenants move out, or move in. We do a move-out inspection to document any damages and handle security deposits. It's just for documentation purposes. We also do what we call a preventative maintenance inspection, a mid-lease preventative maintenance inspection. We schedule this with the tenants ahead of time for halfway through their lease term, and we do it like clockwork. This enables us to get into the property, see the outside, and check every preventative maintenance item that we can. We're going through and we're checking all exposed plumbing, HVAC, electrical, faucets, making sure that there's not a drip that someone hadn't caught that's going to cause inevitable water and moisture and mold damage. So getting inside the property and doing inspections is important, and it should be a routine part.
Now, a lot of people think that there is property managers cost too much. Okay, and overall, being a realtor, I know that's not necessarily true. The charges of a property manager are at about what? What's your percentage, or how do you?
So it's a sliding scale between 9 and 7%. The way we do it is if a property gross rent is under $2,500 a month, that's a 9% bracket. Between $2,500 and $3,000 a month in gross rent is 8%, and above $3,000 a month in gross rental income is 7% monthly management fee.
If somebody was investing in real estate for the purpose of rental properties, what would you recommend to somebody as their first investment property?
In 2025.
In 2025.
Find something that you can afford that's distressed. I got into real estate the same way several years ago, buying distressed properties, fixing them up, and then renting them out. Now, mind you, in the beginning, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of YouTube EDU, learning how to swing a hammer. But in the long run, once that house you bring it up to a quality level suitable for tenants. Of course, there's hidden risks in everything, and that's what property managers do. We mitigate risk of renting out your property. For someone looking to get into real estate in 2025 in the Portland area, I might be a little partial because I love Milwaukee and I live in Milwaukee, but the suburbs of Portland are where you're going to find some of the greatest returns now. We're seeing a large uptick in Clackamas County, specifically the city of Clackamas, Milwaukee, and Happy Valley are becoming increasingly popular, as is Beaverton, Gresham, Tigard, and Hillsborough. Those are where we're finding the lowest turnover times. Those are the quickest times that we're finding tenants wanting to rent houses out, as well as the largest amount of tenants coming to us asking for inventory on those areas.
So I wanted to say thank you to Kyle for being here today. I do appreciate it.
Tim, it's a pleasure.
You've given us a lot of great information. You know, if you enjoyed what you've seen here today or heard, please be sure to follow, like, and subscribe to the channel, and maybe even make a comment below on something that you'd like to know more about. Reach out to either one of us. We'd be happy to answer questions for you or give you some more information on videos like this. Thank you for joining us.